Adventures in Colorectal Cancer, 2026, August 19th. Background, comments about, so this is the background. This is a door covering used in Nepal. I bought this in Namche Bazaar. It has great sentimental value. That was 2005, so I packed it all over for the next month and a half throughout Nepal. So yeah. Yesterday, going to the Vancouver Cancer Center. What can I say about that? It was slowly information. They had me fill out a whole bunch of forms, and then a nurse took me in, and because the forms I filled out were for one department, she asked me all the same questions because it was for a different department. It's just like, man, can you not just do this once? And it's all paperwork. None of it's typed in, so they could, have waited and asked me these questions on a tablet, and then mailed them or printed them or filed them away for everybody who wanted to see. Then a doctor came in, the radiology oncologist, to talk to me about what's going on. Now, this guy trained in England. England has a national healthcare system, and the doctors move quite frequently from hospital to hospital, meaning they have a wider view of things that go on with a broader population. And statistics for things like rectal cancer are done on 80 million people, not on the however many million or hundreds of thousands that are in whatever region you're in. So, I'm not sure if the cancer statistics for coastal health are coded for however many people live in coastal health, and for Fraser Health, however many people live there, or if they combine them for all BC, which might be the issue with why the rectal cancer statistics for BC are so confusing. So that gave me some comfort. Now, the chemo drugs, so it will be, I take the chemo drugs morning and night and get radiation in the middle of the day for 5 weeks, 5 days a week, excluding statutory holidays, for 5 weeks. The next step is to have, I can't remember what, I did another MRI. This one, they either tattoo me for positioning or they blow mold a form from my back because they want to make sure that I'm in the same position for all 25 radiation sessions. They also do a finer resolution MRI. Talking to the guy, I said, well, I thought it was 4 millimeters. And the resolution, I should have thought of this. I understand what the system is doing. Resolution in the MRI is defined by slice thickness. The finer the slice, the better the resolution. Some engineering for you, the Nyquist for that, how fine a resolution can be, is 2 times the slice thickness. So if you want to see something 4 millimeters, you have to do a slice at least 2 millimeters, or at a maximum 2 millimeter distance. That way it won't fall. If you do it at 4, then something 4 millimeters can fall in between. So they're going to give me, and they want something finer. They want something under a millimeter. So this is pretty intense. It's going to get weird because talking to the nurse, I'm going to keep the same medical oncologist, the guy who gives me the chemo drugs, who is in Burnaby on Fraser Health. But my radiation, since there's only a couple of these centers, is going to be done. The closest one is in Vancouver in Coastal Health. They don't talk to each other. So I'm responsible now for scheduling to make sure there's no scheduling conflicts. Like, this is actually completely ridiculous. Maybe I could make a case for not taking records out of a province, but you can't. It's less than 5 miles from Burnaby Hospital to VGH Vancouver Cancer Center. So why? Really, why? It's just stupid. You are blocking patients' quality of care. You really are at this point. Okay. And the other thing is, for something like cancer, there really needs to be an overarching physician, because I'm having the same conversation about what's going to happen and the outcomes with radiation as I just had with the colorectal surgeon. I'm probably going to have the same thing with the medical oncologist, because they don't want to walk on each other's territories. I mean, this is houses have a general contractor. Projects have a project manager. There really needs to be a central person that sits down and say, okay, these are your options for treatment. These are the pros and cons of this. These are the pros and cons of this. And these are the pros and cons of this. I don't want to hear the pros and cons of surgery from the surgeon and then say, well, no, I really don't want surgery. Maybe we'll try radiation, and then wander off to the radiation guy, and he almost gives me exactly the same things, only slightly worse. And I don't know, they won't give you numbers as well. So, as the radiation progresses, my side effects get worse. It's cumulative. They peak at about 5 days after the last treatment, which, I can see, because stuff needs to clear the system. Fatigue, nausea, a looseness in the bowels. So they're going to suggest a low fiber diet, which my GP just suggested a high fiber diet for my cholesterol. I might become incontinent. Because they radiate the whole area. I might become permanently impotent. I might have permanent erectile dysfunction. I don't know what the sort of numbers are with this, because they don't want to put numbers on it. What else? No dietary restrictions, no restrictions on movement. I don't have, because it's in my pelvis and not up near my heart, they don't expect any sort of major immune depression response. Stay away from 6 people like you normally do, but hopefully this gets done by the end of September, so before cold season. Grateful for small miracles. Keep doing everything that I'm doing physically to keep up my strength. What else? I got a huge packet of information to read through. These things are huge information dumps. So with surgery, I will have some degree of looseness of bowels, somewhere between constipated and chained to a toilet, but it will not affect me peeing, and it will not affect my sex life in any way. If I have radiation, I will have, because it's permanently damaging the rectum, I will have some description of looseness of bowels. Again, somewhere between constipation and chained to a toilet. They don't know. Potentially permanently incontinent, so, peeing my pants. And I run the risk of sexual dysfunction. I don't care about being impotent. It really makes no difference to me one way or the other. But yeah, erectile dysfunction would, yeah. So yeah, but I wish, if once the review board had been done, if there was someone who's a nurse practitioner who sat down and said, okay, these are the things that were suggested, these are pros and cons, what do you want to do? I do know for sure that if I don't have a rectum, it won't be able to recover. So yeah, so like, whatever looseness of bowels I have from radiation, whatever, incontinence and sexual dysfunction I have, might possibly recover to a better state. But it won't be to where it was before. I was assured of that, because they're just damaging tissue. They're scarring it. It's being scarred. The erectile dysfunction is curious because the biggest sex organ a human has is the brain. And so, yeah, that's interesting. Never thought of it. It never occurred to me. What else can I say about this? I'm probably missing a whole bunch of stuff because it was a massive information dump. There is so I talked to this doctor was young, from England. He gave me an English study, TSAR, about this. I asked him about organ preservation, how new that is in England. He says it's fairly recent in England, but not as recent as in BC. So I guess this is when you start bringing in more foreign doctors. You get more broader ideas, which is good. Maybe not. Again, they have no idea how big the tumor was because it was taken out in pieces. If that had not if were it not for that, they would have a much clearer idea of how to proceed. But they got to proceed with the worst case. So yeah, boy, that removing the tumor in pieces, that has just screwed this up so bad. I wonder if they just assume, though it's a big one, he's going to have who cares how we take it out? He's going to just have his rectum removed anyway, so just slice it out. A higher recurrence in radiation than removing the rectum over 3 to 5 years. And I said, well, yeah, I might made my standard comment that you can't have rectal cancer if you don't have rectum. And he said, no, it could show up elsewhere is the issue. It's not just that it shows up in the rectum, it shows up elsewhere. Every 6 months I get a proctoscopy, sigmoidoscopy, but proctoscopy, and an MRI, and they're staggered every 3 months. So, you know, um, so every 3 months I'll have either an MRI, a new MRI, or a new proctoscopy. Yeah, no diet restrictions. I guess that's it. Yeah, it's putting on my engineering hat and looking how this is progressing and how the information is coming to me. I haven't found the bottom. The bottom is still coming. I just don't know where it is. I don't know how far away it is or how hard it's going to be. Um, so, um, yeah, and it just keeps legging out. Like when the radiologist left, he said, "Well, see you soon." I said, "Well, no, my next appointment's the 28th of September." He said, "What?" I said, "That doesn't make any sense." And like, that's what they told me. So now that's got to be rearranged. That's for the, I guess it's diagnostic MRI or the positioning MRI, or whatever they call it. Yeah. So new MRI. It's it's just so fuzzy out in front of me still. It's it's like it's like being in a maze where the walls are electrified, where some of the walls are electrified, and it's foggy. You really can't see where you're going, and if you touch the wrong wall, you'll get a shock. And I keep bumping into walls and getting shocks. Like this was not what I was expecting at all. And you know, and I'm sure this the CR surgeon knew about the side effects. He, but he won't say anything because it's not his specialty. You know, like fucking get over yourselves. You're playing with people's lives here because it's online, right? You can just go and read this shit online, which I should have done. Part of this is having my head in the sand because I part of me just really doesn't want to know. The little kid in me just wants to run away. And the adult keeps saying, "No, there is no running from this." Um, the sort of endings are either okay or worse. So like, yeah, you just got to buckle up and stand tall and do this. I'm very grateful for my friends. Um, the support that I'm getting from everybody is just phenomenal, especially Blue Eyes and beautiful and gorgeous. Anyway, making appropriate life decisions. You don't make any money, but boy, do you get some good stories.